This is May 27th, 2023. God. Still going on. Believe it or not, still going on. I went out to eat with a friend, and we were talking about everything. And I told him, I said, if you actually turn around what these people said to me, I want you to think about how ridiculous this is. I said, that would be like me looking at you saying, when you were home, I broke in and set up button cameras. He's like, I said, that or where you were throwing up that one day and you were sick and you were running to the bathroom and throwing up. You had a mark on you and you didn't know where you bumped yourself. That you were drugged and told to say something, and we were stalking, I photoshopped a shower scene in the other room. He's like this. I said, I know, it'd make me look like a crazy me. I said, these people don't realize how crazy they honestly look. They honestly look crazy. They honestly look crazy. They don't understand how insane they look. See, that agent that called, I told you, that agent that called me back could not have known about those stalking tapes. Because if he knew about the stalking tapes, then he knew that Dave knew I called FBI. And there was no staying quiet. You do realize that, right? That Dave was having me stalked. He was having me drugged, beaten, raped. And he was sex trafficking videos of me and Dave in bed. And Dave was letting me be human trafficked in my own house. And I didn't know what was going on. I was waking up with bruises, throwing up, almost passing out. That's how sick all this is. He could not have known. See, that's where a couple days ago, I was up in Akron working at my job, and about 3 or 4 houses down there was one of those officers. And he was talking to the neighbors. He said, it's people saying stuff to her. He said, well, they said that she's weird with blah, 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 blah. He said, no, they photoshopped everything. He said, do you think that agent fell for it? He said, well, he knew better than to look at those videos or those tapes. He said that he wouldn't be allowed to do that. And if he did, he didn't even verify everything was photoshopped. And we already did. He said, so he couldn't have. And yeah. And then he's going on about it. He said, we all been getting phone calls. He said that none of this should have ever happened. And the victim defrauding anybody is wrong, especially victims. See, there was a man up in Ravenna. He's 12 years federal prison. He had 7 victims. One he knew. I don't know if he knew the other ones. He went on their Facebook, their Instagram, photoshopped them, and then photoshopped them in videos. Tried to extort money out of them. He's in jail for cyber stalking. What did they do? Hello? But these people did worse. They kicked in my door to the wall. If you line up the doorknob to the wall, there's a patch there. I had sanded it really good. I had to plaster it and put mesh up and everything. They kicked in my door and vandalized my property. Supposed to set up buying cameras in the bathroom, the shower, bedrooms, everywhere. Stalking me. By the second week I'm up there, I'm throwing up, I'm dizzy. Go outside to try to mow the lawn. I could mow the lawn at Lennox like it was nothing. Okay? Go to do 2 swipes, almost pass out. Go in and get some cold can of Diet Coke. Sit down on the front porch. I'm holding up my neck. My heart's racing. It's like, what is wrong with me? and I go to try to mow the lawn. I almost pass out again. Same thing happens. I almost pass out in the front yard. The neighbor before our house on John Thomas Road comes running over. I'm a male nurse. Can I help you? I see you're struggling. I said, I don't know what's wrong with you. Oh, I'll mow the lawn for you. I don't have money to pay you. Neighbors don't pay each other. Okay? And he, I said I'd feel bad. He said he starts making small talk about having a grown son. And he said, I'll just get my lawn mower out and ride it off real quick. I said, I feel bad for not paying you. Neighbors don't pay each other. I thanked him. Everybody knew it happened. They were already date rape drugging me by the second week. I was waking up with bruises, throwing up, running to the bathroom. I had lost over 18 pounds before I called the FBI. And after I called the FBI, I lost another 70 within 4.5 months. They kept me drugged up so bad. I was vomiting so much, my stomach shifted. That's how not funny this is. And people laugh at me for being their victim. Do they realize how vile people they are? They broke in and were stalking me. They photoshopped that shower scene, their permanent plan to do away with me stalking and photoshopping, and then break in and date rape drug me with amnesia drugs. So I'm sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. And then they're supposed to erase some guy named Chris out of the room and something else and photoshopped everything. They have bragged around the police of all their crimes. They already know I'm framed. They know that everything's photoshopped and date rape drug. Over 10 people went to the police. And then they bragged it in front of them. Today out on Turquoise Street, the one double house across the way, where that one lady was part of it till they let her see the tape of one of the case on Thanksgiving 18, where they found my ex-daughter-in-law had told my one set of grandkids to make up some mean games to pretend, and on Thanksgiving 18, they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa and Grandma to get out, and then to my granddaughter Flora, they were making everything up. They were games to pretend, giggle, 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 okay? She was outside. They let us see that tape of those kids saying they made everything up. Boy, were they making everything up, okay? Well, she was outside today, and she's like, it was actually her ex-husband running around telling everybody they had her tape before. How stupid was I to fall for this? Exactly. How stupid are you? He can't hire a stalker. He goes to jail for that. See, people forget. We live in an amazing country. People have been driving around with stuff on the back of their trucks because it's Memorial Day weekend for we the people. Do they not forget the Constitution for we the people? We have so many wonderful rights in this country that other people die trying to get here, because when they get here, they know they're free. You have so many different rights, and one of them is the Fourth Amendment, the right to privacy. You have the right to be safe and secure in your own person. You have in your own home places, paper and facts, against all unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. What did it say? Shall not be violated. Then it goes into search warrants. No warrant shall be issued except for upon probable cause warranted with an oath or affirmation, with a list of person or places to be searched or seized. That's just for a search warrant. They have to tell you why they're there so you can lawyer up and shut up. The Fifth and Sixth Amendment. Right to an attorney to represent you, and the right to remain quiet. See, they have ran this like a spy flick movie. See, where those agents that I talked to back in 18, they both retired. I told you, this is where a lot of this didn't make sense. The one guy where he had left his phone number, and then they drugged me up so bad I couldn't call him back. And then I told you I had made myself on the third day get up and then got out and got enough air in my face to call Sarah, and she agreed to witness for me, went out and bought her card, put the agent's number in it, made an excuse to go down to the mall, and then went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. That's when Paul Paymer yelled at Dave, "My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there." And I walk off, and Dave eventually comes in, "Let's go," and then threatens my life on the way home. And I had to run from him when I got home and I called the agent back. I tried to tell him. Somebody told on me the night before. He called me a flat-out liar. Why would I lie? Exactly. Why wouldn't he ask for the name of the church? The phone number. Because it's not, he cannot call me a liar. There's badgering laws. Department of Justice 1729. You have to take a victim or a witness or an informant statement, if you believe them or not, and follow through. Obstruction to justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. It's 5 to 20 years. So was he allowed to call me a liar? No. So then when I tried to tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle, he's like, "Was there a camera above that bench when you heard his voice and it came up behind you?" I don't know. "You don't know if there's a camera above that bench? You better say you're lying or I'll put you in jail." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Now, was there a camera above that bench or not?" I don't know. "You don't know, so you say you're lying or I'll put you in jail." Fine, whatever. He had no right. That was a Detroit Boys' kidnapper. Killed Lori's family member, went on to take Melissa's niece and the girl at the ATM. They're part of the human traffickers. He let a serial killer go. He tried to kidnap me in front of Terry. He's still loose. I was training this one girl at my one job, and she was talking about the guy in the white van. Everybody knows about him. He stalks people and they kidnap him. He's part of the human traffickers. And that man called me a liar. See what I mean? Made me beg for my life. Listed me informant for life. $5,000 a month. Immunity. Even when you tell. We'll always put it back as if it never happened, and you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. And I open an account with $5,000 a month in it. And you'll have that money to move out when the case is over. And you'll have it from now on for working this case. And then he threatened me if I told, so I'd be too afraid to tell. I already told him. Dave and the church people knew. I told him that there wasn't somebody, an agent up there telling me, "Call me a liar." He wouldn't even call up there. April 15, 1623. Dave finally confesses that he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. And it was only Pete up there taping me unaware and doing all those things where I was waking up with bruises, infected, throwing up, that he was one day drugging me and beating me and raping me. He had hired him to, and to stalk me. I was seen by Altman family physicians all summer long for being short of breath, heart racing, migraine headache, throwing up, bruising, and a severe personal infection. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I would go out and work in the back area trying to clean it up. We were going to put a picnic table back there. We talked about it. And with there being cans and stuff back there, I had 10-year-old grandchildren. I didn't want them playing in that trash. So I was getting it all cleaned up, come in, wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, go and use the bathroom, wash my hands better, sit down, and take a drink. And it's like, whoa, I felt dizzy. I'd wake up with bruises on me. I'm like, where did I bang myself outside? I thought I was working too hard. So did everybody else. I went to the doctor. They told me to buy some iron pills. Maybe I was becoming anemic. No, because I did not work out of my house. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. You put date, rape, drug, beat, and raped if it's. I can mow the lawn at Lenox. Michelle lives right next to 128 Lenox, where I used to live. She was my neighbor for like 15 years. She told me there was 2 guys watching my house before I moved out. They would leave and come back and leave and come back, and they had been watching me for a long time. I said, well, if I'd known they were there, I would have called someone. She said, Karen, I kept an eye on him for a long time. He had people stalking me at Lenox. You cannot hire a stalker. You can't be in somebody's home. It's entrapment. That's where, like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville, I don't care what they say they got. I don't care what they say they did. Until, well, the Canton FBI took your statement. They couldn't even be in your home. It'd be illegal to look and listen. It's a 4th Amendment. Basically. That's where the Portage County Sheriffs, when they try to blame them, I went up and confronted them. I saw what these people are saying they did is illegal. We had not one of our officers were in your home outside to protect a light case. I said, with statements, yes. I said, he said that or had any knowledge, and what these people said they did is illegal. I said, well, you couldn't look or listen, da-da-da. Yes. Today, somebody had said behind me that if it's a federal law, they can't look or listen to it. Why is somebody even saying anything to it? Exactly. Do they realize how crazy bees they sound like? I don't think they realize how insane they'd look. I told you I didn't believe that agent was real. So I Googled the office he was at when Dave was threatening Dixie and the baby's life. I called down there and they yelled out, he's got a list. I'm working on it. They heard him. Then when I seen that guy, and he took off through the side woods, I called down there and they all, well, she's seen that guy. You tell the police up there to get a hold of it. We're busy. They were too busy to look into anything. See, that's where those police officers, but they opened a real case with statements. After I talked to him, I have an older white guy with white hair. He's known as an officer. Showed up and that said he just got back from talking to Dave about the threats on my life in Walmart. That's where Lamar Sharp and Michael Roswell and Michael at CSE Bank in 19 and 20. They seen him in the back of the bank. People in the bank would say, Karen has her own security here. And they called them officers. Okay? Well, one of them called them officers. That's where the North Canton Jackson police seen him in the back of Liberty House here. Worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over and probably we can wipe that one out. They owe me from the back of my knees. Dave verified. Okay? This is where all this is ridiculous. The police already did their investigation. They found me innocent of everything. That's where March 23rd, 23, Walmart 62 by the hair salon. 2 of the young investigators have been around me since 18. They get to the point they're fed up with this. They walk in. We told these people to stay out of this. We already interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anybody, and nobody ever seen anything. They interviewed him in 18 undercover so they would not be brought into a murder investigation. And then they would have been an accessory if they wouldn't have known. They have having me stalked and drugged. These people aren't realizing what they're saying. Where that guy up in Ravenna went to jail for 12 years for cyber stalking, what do you think they'd get for stalking me in my home? Let alone drugging me. And then selling sex trafficking videos of me and Dave in bed? Photoshopping that shower scene? Setting off the hate crime? Having me beaten, raped? How would you like to wake up with bruises, running in the bathroom, throwing up, thinking, where on earth did I bang myself? And then all of a sudden your personal area gets infected. And you made love to your ex, while I was married, my husband, all the time. And that bastard kept touching me. You know why he did? Because he was probably showing off for the cameras. Getting a high off of these people helping him hurt me. How stupid are they? Just because they wanted my house and jewelry. You do realize, and that's where Michelle and retired Judge Pete think they did it all for her. There was a young blonde girl, March 18. Dave took me to a restaurant. It was basically empty. They had one other couple in the side, and old couple sitting behind me. She walks by and goes, and sits down and rams her body in the back of the booth. Does he think it's funny bringing her here? And then I'm like, Dave, you know her? He's like, I don't know her. And then they start talking about Dave by name. I said, Dave, they sure do know you. He's like, Karen, I don't know those people. She keeps ramming her body in the back of the booth. I said, can I sit on your side? He said, yeah, come on over. I said, who are those people? He's like, I don't know. They were a set of the mean parents. That's where people up in Akron, everybody knows how not funny this is. That one girl and her family were involved in this, and he was dating her a long time before this even started. Dave had made a comment September 3rd to 6th of 18 that him and Jack had this plan since March because I wouldn't give up everything willingly. They had this all planned to start photoshopping date rape drugging if I didn't die. Where Katie in the mall told people they had a permanent plan to do away with me. This is it. The date rape drugs and the photoshopping and stocking tapes is stupid. It's very stupid. This is where I look at people. That's where those agents were too busy to look into anything, but open the case and let the police handle it. Then they retired and didn't tell the police they retired and just let it run. And where they were too busy to look into anything, retired Judge Pete told everybody he was Agent Will from the FBI, and nobody was to help me and nobody was to believe me. And people lap this up like dogs. Any kind of shit they throw down, they lap it up. Oh, really? It's like, no. Him and the drug cartel ran the biggest scam in the world here. The biggest scam in the world. He gave the drug cartel had fake FBI badges, were in Faith Family Church, about 4 or 5 of them. January 19, I start going down there. First time I walk in, they said, she's an informant. Nobody's to tell she's here. And then they started telling everybody they were FBI. Michelle shows up. She admitted to stalking me and watching me on the bathroom toilet. Do you realize how illegal that is? I had got ready for church, and I wore a nice dress. I went to put a cardigan on with it. And I'm OCD off the chart. I go to flush the toilet, the sleeve falls down, I go to shove it up. And it's like crap. So I flush the toilet, I take the sweater off, wash my arms up to my elbows, go in and try on 2 different sweaters, go in and go to church. She comes in with her friends. Don't sit by her. She has a peace sweater on. I washed my arms and changed my sweater. Sweetie, you were lying on me. She was watching me in the bathroom. Do you know how illegal that is? Where those agents had opened that case, the Real Protected Custody case, informant, that retired judge hacked into it and sold it like a reality show. I've had over 60 people say something to me about being raped and tortured. The gunshot night, Mel's kids lying on Thanksgiving of 18, dear God, May of 19, Mannequin and Canton. I go in, they're like, hey, Karen, if you didn't hear John's kids right on the 3rd step up, Dave's girlfriend isn't Shell, it's Michelle. Well, they also heard him say it to Flora later on that the house, not only the house wasn't meant for Grandma, it was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, but later on to Flora, they made everything up. That's why October 23rd, 2019, Flora was laughing. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Laughing. Sick shit. Sick shit. Where the police came up to me and said they'll make up something and call you a bad word. They didn't tell me. I had so much to deal with. I was out with my one client on October 5th, 21 at Huntington Bank. Now, they sold the login, even to my phone. I'm in Huntington Bank on Cleveland Avenue, about 1 something, okay? And they come in, we don't want Melissa getting no money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. We go to leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They always talk about lying on you. Or all about lying. I said, old ex-daughter-in-law friends with ex's girlfriend, had the kids make up some mean games of pretend in front of the police. He's like, she's crazy. I said, I know she is. Do you know people ran out of businesses on Cleveland Avenue? They made all that shit up. See, this is where it's weird. We're up in Akron where that police officer was telling everybody we verified all the tapes before everything was photoshopped on her. Okay? He said, have you listened to Karen before? He said, yeah, I've listened to her. There's like versions where they sold a login that people only listen to me and then other people see me at home. This is where it's like different upgrade levels or something. It's weird. I used to freak out so bad. I used to shower in the cold dark. I literally, would turn off the lights and get in the shower because people admit to see me in the shower. They would admit to see me on the toilet. Where they first started making fun of me really bad in March of 21, my stomach was so upset. I literally pooped out blood. My intestines started bleeding from the stress. People showed up and said she can't handle any of this. She's been pooping out blood for days. Do you realize how sick that is? They have violated me on every level. Every level. People watch this and then they finally get to the point, none of this is funny. When did you find any of it funny? The Ed at the Oakland apartment, he said, I think the COVID virus damaged people's brains. They find stuff funny that isn't. They had told him December 9, 21, everything was dark in Photoshop, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes here. He told the Canton police that the guy at the Hunger Task Force, white man, bald with dark eyes, distributing food, the Starr County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street, December 9, 21. Actually, worth the case. There was only 4 or 5 volunteers. Canton found him. Ed talked to the police, too. And so did my client on Chapel Church Road. Her neighbor, actually her neighbor right next to it, the White House. They told her that retired Judge Pete drugged and photoshopped everything and made everything up on me. They all went to the police, and then May 12th, 22, you know, I was eating with that guy tonight. I told him about how they said they put clips together, made it a porn, and that it was a shower scene. I said, they play with you. And I said, well, what would you be doing if you touch yourself, you expose yourself, you touch yourself? It looks weird, but you're not. He said, it sounds like you're washing up. I said, he said he was showering, wasn't it? I said, that's what I guess. I said, I walked out of my apartment. She figured, or I said, I guess that. And they laughed at me. She figured out what they did. I said, it's showering. He said he had a friend that had a 3D computer. It was only like $800. He said he could Photoshop something like that. Exactly. Do you know how bad all the pain and horror that drug cartel put me through is public knowledge? Most good people, if they see me out, they call the case that agent opened, the police officers call it Karen around the house. Some of the regular people call it Karen's will. Okay? They see me and they'll say, Karen's will's here today. Want to talk to her. Do you know what they tell me? God's still there. Keep praying. Keep believing. He'll still answer. Just keep believing. I had one idiot say, I heard they sold her for money. I'd like to talk to her and find out what it was like. One of my security guards walked up to him. You are never to meet her. You are never to talk to her. Do you understand me? I got away from him. It was devastating. You want to ask me a vile question like that? Do you want somebody to go off on you? Choose your words carefully. Okay. You know, in my other tape, I said my brother told me that David went off to a strip club before in 2000. Now, I talked to him today. He said he wasn't him, but he doesn't doubt somebody in our family did. My sister Linda, Tim was always cheating. She used to follow him around and find him with Katie. So did my mom. They used to follow him all the time. They stalked him. It was her husband. And she knew he was cheating. She'd never say anything, but she'd follow him around. Stupid, but she would never say anything. But she'd follow him around. Catch him cheating, but she wouldn't, and she'd tell everybody. Or in the family, but she wouldn't say anything to personally. So it was probably her and my mom. But I told you, Dave ended up with that. Pete, remember him showing up with that infection. He told he said he got it off a toilet seat at work. He didn't get it off a toilet seat at work. He got it off some prostitute. He had to be on antibiotics, powders, all kinds of stuff. And then I ended up getting it afterwards. Had to be on antibiotics too. I should have left him years ago. Love is stupid and blind and stupid. But do you realize that young blonde girl, does he think it's funny bringing her here? She's a little 18, 19-year-old kid. Old parents. Why? See, that's where to the point. You want my husband, you just have him divorce me. Our house payment at Lenox was like $560 to $600. I paid more than that in rent. I lived there 25 years. Why wouldn't you just have him sign it over to me? Give me a small amount of alimony and move on. Go be happy with him. Why destroy me? That's sick. Where would he find her? She wasn't apostolic by all means. Matter of fact, her friends are quite trampy. I figure he picked her up in the strip club. Because her sick family are willing to kill and destroy for your life. Like that guy in Ravenna. He picked up Michelle and retired Judge Pete in Ravenna. 4 years ago, Memorial Day weekend 2019, food counter, old white woman with an African-American man screamed it out for it's my daughter. Her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna. And it's for my daughter. They did all this for her. And our family watching her doing this. Retired Judge Pete, for Michelle, thought it was so great the drug cartel did all this for her. Okay? Why? Like I said, that one guy up in Ravenna had 7 victims. I think he only knew one. Was taking their pictures off Facebook, Instagram, photoshopping them, and then photoshopping them videos, trying to extort money. He's 12 years federal prison. What do you think these people get? Do they realize what they're saying? Where Dave told Danny, where they got Eric High on November 18, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m., told him to go in and confess for all the tapes before. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it. Blah, 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 blah. Full confession. Had been leaving his name in Altman Hospital, Steve's at cards, and all over Louisville and Canton. Had police departments looking for him for these 2 crazy stalkers. Dave finally confesses April 15, 16, 23 to Danny. He didn't know why that guy confessed, because they framed him and drugged him and told him to say it. You're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. Okay? He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. He was the only one up there taping on her underwear and the only one doing all those things to her before. And Pete has to set up. She can't get no money. Pete doesn't have anything admissible. It's the 4th Amendment. You can't hire a stalker. Stalking tapes are not admissible. They're not credible. And the right to privacy kicks it out. Like they said, if it's a federal law, that they can't ever look or listen to him. Why would you say a word to her? He broke a federal law. Why isn't he in jail? We'll put it that way. He broke a lot of them. And that he had seen, told Danny, he had seen an agent up at that church asking threats on her life. And he even spoke to him personally. And he said he was the only agent from the agency looking into it on his own. See, that's where November 6, 22, Trinity Gospel. The investigators were in talking there. We found the protected custody case. Karen's okay anymore. And they talk about different groups in the case. We told them to all stay out of this. And then the one guy said, well, the agent that called her back is verified by an officer. They have officers up there. That he told on her before she called him back, oh, my Lord, and they walk out. See, why didn't that agent just ask me the name of the church and verify it? See, that's his job, is to get evidence and verify. And for him to find the camera and find out who that guy was. There's a good chance Dave made that big mistake and called the guy. Or the Pizza Hut lady called him. See, it's coming down to somebody called him. See what I mean? He made a lot of mistakes. Now I sound innocent of everything in this case. I'm going to upload this.